All right, federal employees, it's time to unpack what should be in your FERS Go Bag. Boy, I tell you what, we have been inundated with such great questions from federal employees, and there's a lot of uncertainty out there right now with what the different options are. A lot of the lawsuits, am I going to have a job? Am I not going to have a job? And I got to say, the emotional roller coaster a lot of people going through is really tough. So a lot of times what our job is to sit down and say, hey, there's a lot of uncontrollable things, but what are the things that we need to control? And that's kind of what I've been talking to people about, getting their FERS Go Bag ready to go. While we may have an option, we may want to fill our career, we may want to stay on it for longer, sometimes things are outside of our control, and you have to be ready for those things. I live in Alaska, so one of the things we talk about all the time is disaster preparedness. Whether we're hiking in the backcountry, we need to be able to do self-rescue. Whether we're in town and a natural disaster happens, we need to be able to do self-rescue. This is kind of where I got this idea from about saying, you know what are you doing for your own self-rescue for your retirement? Let's get into 5 key things you must be getting ready to do. All right, so out of the things you need to have in your retirement go bag, the number one thing is cash. That's right, Benjamins. Now, if you're looking at this amazing stack and you're like, wow, Micah, that's kind of impressive. I wish I had that. Don't worry, you could too. Just get a whole bunch of ones and put a Benjamin on top of it, and it looks amazing just sitting there. You can impress your friends. All right, but cash, right? Clickbait aside, this is really important. We talk about this all the time. Cash flow is the heartbeat of retirement. And what I can tell you, and we've been writing different storms with clients for a long time, my clients that have good cash weather storms very well. People that don't have good cash have a hard time weathering storms. So whether it's cash you're keeping in your safe at home for a disaster, or whether cash we need to have in a bank account in case you might be rapidly unemployed, the government shuts down, you don't get paid, all of these types of things is really important. So how much cash? I ideally like to see 6 months of spending if we're in a non-retirement mode. As we get closer to retirement, then I want to see closer to 1 to 2 years of distribution. See our other videos about preparing for retirement and how to set up an investment plan, which is really, really important. But cash flow is the heartbeat of retirement, and you got to make sure you can remove some of that mental stress. And having cash in the bank account does a really good job. Let's talk about the next item. Second item you need in your go bag, paperwork. That's right, paperwork. Nope, I'm not going to show you any client paperwork, right? Just a folder on this side. But inside of this folder, what I'd love to see, whether this is physical or whether this is digital, I want to see every single SF50 you were ever issued. I want to see in my magic world, if you could get this done, a certified summary of federal service. If you have any time that you bought back, any military deposit time, I want to see confirmation from OPM that you purchased that time back. The biggest error that we see time and time again is people having a misunderstanding of creditable service for retirement. Your RSCD, which is different than your SCD, and I know we talk about that a lot. Why is this documentation important? Because when you're in, you're a guest, and when you're out, you're a pest. So you got to have this documentation in place to make sure that you get all the benefits you worked really hard for. And if you really have 20, 25, 30 years, whatever that years of service, you need to be able to prove it when you go to retirement. So that's those SF50s you have to have. Pay stubs are great, but SF50s are really where you want to be. And we have a lot of other videos that talk about that in depth as well. Let's talk about the next item. The third item that you have to have in your FERS Go Bag is a med kit. Okay, maybe you don't need tourniquets going on, right? Again, just grabbing this from stuff we do in the backcountry, but this represents the medical question that I want to make sure you guys answer. One of the best benefits you guys have as a federal employee is your ability to maintain health insurance into retirement. Some particular rules around that. Number 1, you must be in FEHB for 5 years prior to retirement. Number 2, you must be eligible to retire with an immediate pension. Guess what? A VERA could be an immediate pension. What is not an immediate pension? A deferred retirement. Postponed retirement is different. Again, I'll refer back to a lot of other videos we have on this channel. We talk about postponed versus deferred, but really know what those options are. Your spouse also has to meet 2 criteria in order for them to maintain health insurance into retirement. Number 1, they must be in your FEHB before you pass away. Number 2, they must be receiving a survivor benefit if you pass away. So those are the 2 things your spouse has to do. So this is really important to make sure you get those things taken care of. All right, what's the next thing you should have in your FERS Go Bag? The 4th thing that you should have in your FERS Go Bag, communications, right? Okay, you're probably not calling in the office on a radio. Again, this is just stuff we like to use when we're playing in the woods and doing camping, fishing, and hiking and those great things in Alaska. But for you, this is going to represent, do you have the communication that you need when you leave the agency? Again, just like paperwork, when you're in, you're a guest, when you're out, you're a pest. Who's your HR contacts? Do you have them in your personal device? I can't tell you federal employees I've worked with that have downloaded their official personnel file. They have all this information. They leave and they're like, oh crap, I downloaded all on my government computer that I turned in, and they don't have it. They don't have the contacts for their HR personnel if there's a question with their leave, cash out, or anything else going on. So make sure you have those important contacts. Really, really important. The last item that you need in your go bag, you can always put more stuff inside there, but this one's a must. And this one gets missed so often in all of the little details and all the little things. The fifth item that you need in your go bag, a map. Where are you going? Okay, Alaska, that's a solid plug, right? Come on, come up to our great state. We'd love to have you up here. It's so beautiful. We love to share it. But you need a map of where you're going in retirement. What does it look like? One of the things I love to see, not just a physical map, but I love a calendar for my retirees. What are you going to do? I got a client right now going through a job transition, this government stuff aside. It says, great, I want to see the calendar. What are you going to do? What activities? It's so easy to get sucked into things, to slide, not decide into the activities that you want to do. So you need to have an activity plan of what this is going to be. If you're fast forwarding your clock and now you're going to that next exciting chapter of your life of retirement, what are the things that you want to do with your spouse, with your kids, etc., to make sure you're making the most of it when you can? There'll become a point in time when you can't do these things. Our job is to really looking at how do you balance that out? How do you have enough fun activities, things you want to do, but still never run out of money? And that's a fine balancing act, but you got to have a map that's going to get you there. One of the things we talk about a lot with our clients is our retirement income timeline. It's not as hokey as this. I hope you guys enjoyed that. But it's really about what do you need to do as you're preparing for retirement? What are all those boxes that you need to check? If you haven't downloaded that, jump on our website at planyourfederalretirement.com. Grab that. It's a free guide we give out, and really go through that and make sure you're ready. I don't care if your retirement's 10, 15 years away. We're living in some interesting times right now, and I'd highly suggest you take care of it. Look at those things now to make sure you're taken care of. If you're looking for help, if you're looking for answers to questions, I don't like to plug us a lot, but we're fielding a lot of questions, and we'd love to help you out if you need that. Pick up the phone, give us a call, visit our website, planyourfederalretirement.com. Till next time, happy planning.